What's my backstory? How'd I get into storytelling? Well, I think it's helpful to know my dad is an inventor and my mother is a teacher, artist, and toy designer. So you can imagine, I learned to grow up in a world full of infinite possibilities. Yet for all of the creative freedom that I had, you can imagine that my parents did not teach me how to fit in or belong anywhere. Now, as I went into my career, I began as a social entrepreneur. I had a lot of early success, and then I had a whole bunch of failure. And I came out of those experiences feeling like something was missing from the conversation. And that's what brought me to storytelling. For over a decade, I've been obsessed and geeking out with storytelling. First, I started as a brand and organizational change consultant, and I used to work with folks like NASA and Ernst & Young, Marriott, the UN Foundation, the Nature Conservancy, really helping organizations think about their strategic story. Well, in 2009, things changed for me. I went through a divorce, and in the process, everything changed. My business at the time got pulled into the divorce, and I lost everything. So here I was, broke, on the verge of personal bankruptcy. I lost my business that was my little child, and I had to start over from scratch. And in 2.5 years, I went from being a consultant to becoming a self-published author, a podcaster, a journalist, a professor at a business school, a curator of an online conference, a fashion designer, I know that one's hard to believe, and even the dean of my own university. And I share this with you not to brag, but more as a parable about the age that we live in today. And that is, we can become anybody we want to be. And in fact, everything I've built in founding Get Storied, in becoming the dean of Story University, or producing the Reinvention Summit, which is the world's largest virtual conference on storytelling, or writing the Storytelling Manifesto, which has been downloaded by over 10,000 people in the world. And I wrote that in 90 days from the first word on paper to having the book available for sale on Amazon. All of those things were done for pennies on the dollar, because literally, that's all I had. So this is the opportunity that's actually available to any of us. See, now the tools, the platforms for sharing your story have been democratized. There's 1,001 choices that you've got. With a simple flip video camera, with a blog, as long as you've got a computer, you can create content and then you can share your content with the world. And in the process, gather a tribe of thousands who believe in the same things that you do. See, there's something I learned growing up. And it's something both my mother and my father taught me as the creatives and visionaries that they were. They would ask me the question, Michael, what do you see? Whether we were in an art gallery or we were in the garage tinkering around with what my mother called super junk and building pirate ships out of material that most people would just throw in the trash. They would ask me, what do I see? And I've come to realize we all see something different. You might look at a page full of numbers and you see a financial story. There are some people you can give them buckets of paint and suddenly they'll start throwing the brush around and they see a story. Right? Or instead, maybe you're somebody who's really good with words and you can pull out the words and connect the dots into a coherent story. So one of the ways to think about your own gift and your own passion and your own strengths is about what do you see? And as you become more and more comfortable knowing what you see, right, we then go through life, of course, trying to get others to see what we see. Right? We all want others to care and believe in the same things we do. That's the power of storytelling. I'll share with you a little secret. This is the holy grail of storytelling. And that is when you tell a story that people can identify with as their own. If people can see themselves in your story, then the need to persuade, convince, or sell them on anything, it disappears. Just imagine if we lived in a world, or if we as a brand, or as a cause, or your own thought leadership, if you could actually start telling stories that people just wanted to be a part of, many of the other problems that we face would just start to take care of themselves. So that's why I am so obsessed with storytelling, because I think it's a really important concept that we all need to learn and master, and how it applies to our brand, how it applies to social media, how it applies to innovation, how it applies to culture change. Right? If you have an idea you want to get into wider acceptance, that process is a narrative process. So hopefully you can relate to the journey that I've been on of feeling lost in translation in so many ways. And I see so many world-changing entrepreneurs and visionaries like yourself who have something really big and important to share. And I would love to help you translate your message into something that people can really resonate with and want to be a part of.